Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling. I'm here with an NXT review. I'm a little bit late to it. Such a busy week. I know I've said that every video, but it's true. And now I'm starting cold, which is not good. So I will be clearing my throat a few times. I apologize ahead of time. So NXT, it started, I've got my notes down here. It started with a Authors of Pain versus TM61 match, and they kept emphasizing, hey, this is this rematch of the final from last year. And I kept thinking, why would you do that? The reason being, Authors of Pain, we're gonna win this. I was pretty sure, and I thought TM61 could really use a huge win right now. And maybe you make them go over Authors of Pain. But the match was kind of what you'd expect, so it was pretty competitive. TM61 got to show off some pretty big moves. Authors of Pain were showing some power moves. At one point, I think his name is Nick Miller, the non-Thorn one, did a moonsault. That guy might have the nicest moonsault in all of WWE. I guess Charlotte Flair probably wins as having the best, but this guy always lands his moonsault perfectly. It just always looks perfect. It's kind of like Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle used to have a great moonsault. So I just made a note of that. The match, is back and forth. It looks like TM61 might get it with the moonsault, but the Authors of Pain are going to kick out of that. Then Akam, I believe, picks up Shane Thorne and power bombs him from within the ring to the outside edge of the ring. And if WWE hasn't told you yet, that is the hardest part of the ring apron. So just remember that. So Thorne is basically knocked out of the match. AOP hit their finisher on Miller, who was left in the ring. AOP goes over. And then it gets into a lot of promos, and really they fit a lot of stuff into this episode. So I'm going to really refer to my notes a lot. So I will look down a lot because I cannot remember all of it. So from that moment, they cut to a Regal press conference. So William Regal is just talking about the Dusty Rhodes Classic, saying virtually nothing. But it sets up the medium press, the press calling out Pete Dunne and calling him over. Pete Dunne comes over and they ask him about the title defense against Roderick Strong. And he says this title's not leaving the UK anytime soon, but he admits that Roderick Strong pushed him to the limit. Then Roderick Strong comes in with a "I respect you" type promo. He's like, yeah, you were the better man and all that stuff. But he's like, but I'm looking forward to doing it again. Then Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era show up, and Cole basically says, let me guess, Strong is asking for a rematch for another big time match that he's lost. And then Dunn kind of calls Cole out and says, what have you won since you've been here? So almost defending Roderick Strong. So almost a bit of a face turn type thing, but maybe temporary, or setting up a match with Adam Cole. Either way, kind of worked. Bobby Fish is in the background. Man, that guy's got a cool look. That guy could be in any movie from the 1800s and fit in. He really looks, I don't know. I just find that guy looks awesome. Maybe it's just me. I really kind of enjoyed the Dunn versus Cole heat, and I guess him kind of getting along with Strong in a weird way. When a guy is a badass and kind of a really good heel and he does something kind of not heelish, it almost makes it super cool. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get myself. Okay. What do we have next? A kind of fun, dumb, chaos-themed promo from Sanity. So they're kind of all in this stairwell going into a basement, and they all just talk about chaos. And it starts with Eric Young just talking about, starting the chaos at the previous Dusty Rhodes Classic. It has Alexander, is it Alexander Wolf? I always forget his name. Just talking more, looking weird, and then Nikki Cross jumps on his back, and then it finishes with Killian Dane. They're really positioning Dane to be the star of this team, which is fine. He probably should be. So it just worked out though. It's like they said nothing, but it was still entertaining. So then there was a match. It was Bianca Belair versus a jobber by the name of True Renee. I've never heard of her, but I'm not too big into the independent scene. And all I wrote was that Belair is a future champ. I think Belair is great. She is cocky. She does a little like twirly dance move when she comes into the ring. She looks really great. Physically, like just super impressive. Like she's very strong, very athletic. She would be completely believable as a champion. Charlotte Flair. There aren't too many women, especially that look as impressive as Bianca Belair, and I actually think she's got that perfect attitude. I can't remember hearing her on the mic, but everything else about her is like screaming star to me, and I can't see her not being at least NXT champ within the next 2 years. She's just great. Then Lacey Evans is cutting a promo somewhere, like it's in the background. I think she's with the girl that used to work on AfterBuzz TV. I don't know her name. So Lacey Evans cuts a promo on Dakota Kai, just saying, she's playing some kind of Southern Belle thing. And then Shayna Baszler shows up. Evans kind of goes away, and Baszler calls out Ember Moon, says, I called out the champ, and the champ has responded with silence. I guess I got my answer. And Baszler showed really good fire, and it was actually a pretty good promo. Like I've seen her in the past where she's kind of a little rough, but she was on point on this one. I actually really enjoyed that. And then another promo. So it's 3 promos in a row, or even 4. But yeah, they cut to a Heavy Machinery promo, and those guys, well, especially this Dozovich guy. Basically has Tucker Knight pulling Dozovich, who's doing weights on some kind of sled, and they're just talking about weights and stakes, essentially, which is their line, it works. But yeah, it's such a dumb thing, but I really enjoy them. They're straight out of the 90s, but because there's no one right now that's straight out of the 90s, they work. So I really liked it. Then Ciampa, Tommaso Ciampa shows up to no music, and he just walks out with a crutch and a really like serious knee brace on, but he's walking fine, which is interesting. And the crowd just rips into him. And he goes into the ring and he goes to cut a promo, and the crowd just keeps chirping him. So he just kind of puts it back down, kind of reminiscent of the Roman Reigns one from a few years back. Maybe not a few years back, maybe a year ago. And he just he fakes the promo, and then he just drops the mic and walks out. And then he goes to the crowd and grabs a Johnny Wrestling sign, brings it back into the ring, rips it apart, beats it up with his crutch, destroys the crutch, and then kind of jumps out of the ring and walks out. And he jumped out of the ring, so it makes you think that the knee's probably not that bad. But he still had that kind of old school looking brace on there. It was actually very good. Obviously, Ciampa has a way, like a lot of abilities of telling a story with his face. He was like disgusted, angry. He made it almost look like he felt bad for a second, but then he's like, no, I don't feel bad at all. He was just kind of all over the place, and it just all worked. And then the final match of the night was Killian Dane versus Aleister Black. And it was exactly what you would expect. Aleister Black's got the cool big moves. Killian Dane moves well for a big guy, so lots of good stuff. One of the running themes was that Dane had hurt Black's ribs, so Black was limited with some of the things he could do. So you kind of had that dynamic throughout the match. So every once in a while, he'd grab his ribs after doing something, even if it was an offensive move. the final sequence was kind of interesting. So you had Dane basically kind of knock Black down, do a senton, and then hit a Vader bomb for a near fall. And then he has that whole surprise look on his face, can't believe Black kicked out. He puts Black up in the, what do they call it, the electric chair move, because he's about to do his finisher, which has a name that I just cannot remember. Something plunge or something, I don't know. He goes to do his finisher with the electric chair, but Black rolls out of it, or basically kind of turns it into a roll-up. Dane kicks out of the roll-up. They both get up. Dane goes to attack Black. Black hits Black Mass and knocks Dane out and pins him. Black Mass, one of the most protected finishers right now in wrestling, I would say. And it should be, because it looks awesome. It's one of the coolest looking moves. And Black's strikes in general are pretty great, but that move is awesome. So overall, that was the end of the episode. Pretty good episode. Tons of promo stuff. So at least they're really working on building stories. They didn't really do it in the ring as much as they did it outside of the ring. That's okay. You need a couple episodes like that. NXT is 1 hour long, and I had something like 8 different segments in it. And so you'll usually get something similar to that in a 3-hour show. So they're pushing along a lot of stories. They're giving people a chance to get over, to talk a lot, and it was very good. I guess that's it for now. I should be back with an Impact review a little bit later on, and I think Rob's already gotten his Fastlane predictions in. I have not looked at them. I will try to sneak some in. I'm probably going to do that via audio. You can expect a few more videos coming by, or audio. It's still a video coming soon. All right. Thanks for watching.